Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. Do you know what this is? Well, at the end of this particular segment, I'm going to tell you that this was a Mother's Day gift that someone may have received back in the early 40s or the late 50s. Maybe the 60s, I'm not sure, but I think between the 40s and the 50s. Isn't it beautiful? What you think that is? What you really think it is? All right. Let's talk about this. When our mothers carry what we never saw. What our mothers carried, what we never saw. What our mothers carried, what we never saw. Mother's Day is coming. Mother's Day is coming. Mother's Day is coming. And that is a time of remembrance, and that's a time for joy if your mother's still living, and that's the time to remember your heavenly mother. And so I've been thinking, what did our mothers carry that we never saw? You know, the older you get, the older you get, the smarter your mother gets. That I didn't believe that, but that's absolutely true. You can hear right now some things going on in the back of your head. When you look at things, you said, my mother said that. Oh my God, is that what? I sound like my mother. I mean, the older you get, the smarter we get. But you don't know that sometimes after we're off the earth. You're like, dang, she told me that. Because people don't believe. We don't ever believe what our parents tell us. I got some things that I didn't believe that my mother said. That now I look at it now and like, wow. And I've said some things that I think that nobody believes me. But I know sometimes we know what we're talking about, but we don't know how to present it. Sometimes the parents present things wrong. You had your mother present something to you and you just rejected it. And then you know that it's true, but you don't want to do it because she said it. And because she said it, you don't do something different when you know all the time was the best thing to do. And it's been, we all have had those moments, and then we don't want to admit them. We won't admit it, or we admit them after dead and gone. I think about some of the things my mother said that now I wish I had just paid a little more attention to. And so anyway, what did our mothers carry we never saw? We carried silent strength for sure. Especially my mother was quite vocal in the 60s and the 50s. Yes, she was. And so I remember my mother getting a credit card. I think she was here in Atlanta. I think you may have heard me tell this story before. And it had my stepfather's name. It had Mrs. Stepfather's name on it. And she was like, what? That is not my name. She was furious. And I was thinking, Mama, you could use the card. She's about to go shopping like, whoa, let's take the card and roll with it. She's like, oh, no. I'm not using this card. I am not signing that name or anything. Because back then, you signed a paper when you got the using the credit card. I think she's one of the first ones when the credit cards came out. And you had this long paper, and you rolled it through something, and then you signed, and you got a receipt for it. All that kind of thing went on. And so they had a silent strength. They could look at things. Your grandmama and mama, they took 3 seconds before they figured out what was going on with that child, what was going on with you, what was going on in that situation. Really, because they had discernment, not only discernment, they had experience. And people don't believe we have discernment or experience because they may know our flaws because they're right up on us, but we know what the hell we're talking about. We do, and they had silent strength. They knew some things. They knew they could look. And then my mother used to sit with her hand on her chin. Once she got her hand on her chin, everybody knew, don't say anything to Georgia, better let her alone right now. Because when she came from the hand on the chin, she had an answer. And it was normally, most of the time, a very good answer. You don't know how smart they are. Next thing you know, that they protected their children from reality. I know my mother, I'm a clear example of a mother protecting a child from reality. And sometimes we do too much. Sometimes when we do protect them from reality and you say something to them, then they don't understand that you protected them from something, but you know a little more. And you can see down the line how people are treating them, but they can't see that for themselves. Then they get mad with you if you say something about how somebody's treating them. Then, of course, they know more than you, so you just rather get out the way. And they find out later on in life when they get way down the road, they find out, I think she might have had something else. So, we protect them from reality. My mother did a really good job with that with me. And I don't fault her for it because I learned a lot in a fast time. I learned that I was black. I learned I was colored. I learned a lot about myself. in a short time coming from the north to the south. I really thought I was just a superwoman, a super girl, I guess, that I could do anything I wanted to do. I was smart, da 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 da. And I got down south to school, to Spelman, and they had them colored signs, and I got put in my absolute place immediately upon arrival. And there's a whole movie about it. Many of you know, Foot Soldiers, the class of 1964. Executive producer, myself and my daughter, award-winning, did I say, documentary. That the protection from reality, that's basically what the movie's about. My daughter is the writer, producer, director, and also executive producer, Reverend Evelyn Sanders Swafford. What else did they do? They held families together. Yes, they did. I think about my mother-in-law. I love my mother-in-law. I had a good mother-in-law. And my mother said she wanted to be a good mother-in-law, and I think my daughter's father thought that about her, because she stayed out of the way. I work on that myself. You stay out of the way. You see, but you don't say. You see, but you don't say. You know what you know, but you don't discuss it. You don't say a word, and that's what my mother. She didn't say. She would say something to me, but she would never say anything to Alvin. She never said anything to him, and I'm the same way. I never say anything to my son-in-law one way or another. It's fine with him. Everything he does is fine with me. And if I have something I want to question, I just say something to my daughter. That's how you get to be a good mother-in-law. You stay out of the way. You stay out of their way. Stay out of the way. You hold your family together. You want your family to be together. Some opinions are correct. You know they're right. Because you've aged, whatever age you are, they're right. You've seen it work, but you keep your mouth closed. It's better keep your mouth closed to keep your family together. If you see something, and my mother-in-law, I loved her for that. Anytime anybody needed a roof over their head, Mrs. Sanders had a space. She found a space in the basement, in the corner, outside, anywhere, in a hammock. She didn't care. And I was the same way with that part, my husband's family. I think somebody wanted to come up there where we were. Alvin was in D.C. area, and there was a cousin wanted to come and stay. And we just made a way. Just made a way. You made a way for people. Back then, people just came and stayed with you. It wasn't that they had room or not. You just opened your doors. You kept your family together. So the three things we know that mothers did, they had silent strength. Silent strength. That's number one. Number two, they protected their children from reality. And sometimes it can be overprotective. I don't know. We could say that if it's such a thing. I don't know. That's sort of like a contradictory statement, overprotection maybe. But protect them from reality. So they can have some childhood, so they can just be free to be. They can think and enjoy themselves. Sometimes when I'm on the air, I will answer the phone so that people know I'm on the air. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going with this. So the three things that I was saying that mothers do: they have silent strength, they protect children from reality, and they hold their families together. My mother-in-law held that family together. And I promise you, when my mother-in-law passed away, I just felt like I didn't know anybody in the family anymore. I didn't know, I don't know, I didn't know anything anymore, because she kept everybody, she knew where everybody was. She kept up with, she would ask somebody, and we had phones. I don't think, maybe she lived to the cell phone era. I can't remember. I don't think we did. Maybe the big cell phone. But mostly it was the old-fashioned phone call and letters in the mail and contacted people. My mother didn't always have answers, but she had endurance. She didn't have an answer for me, but she had endurance. And there were times where she had her own issues, on what to do about what when. But she had endurance. You could see the strength. My mother had her own business. Like I said, she wasn't going for her name not being who it was. She said, my name is. I remember her being adamant about that. My name is Georgia. My name is not his name. And so, that made me be, hey, I'm somebody. I'm connected to, because back in the day, I got called Mrs. whatever, Mrs. Alvin. I had a name, my name was Georgianne, but I wasn't Georgianne. That's the way the man was always always first. So, but one thing women had then, and I think they still have now, they had endurance, because it takes endurance. And so they had silent strength, protecting children from reality, holding families together, And on a personal note, and the mothers had this, they had endurance. They had endurance. I think about my mother-in-law didn't have formal education, but she took what she had and she used it to make her family. She educated her boys. She educated. She was there long enough to see my daughter at least make it to high school. She didn't live past that part. She knew I was educated. She knew that her sisters had gone to college. You know, just stay in the course, regardless of her education. She knew and encouraged others to go to college. It was just an honor to watch the way she fed us and made sure it's food and regardless of whatever you needed. That's what I love about the whole motherhood thing. And mothers, you know, just if you may not have had your own physical birth of a child, but there's somebody you took care of, or there's somebody you were motherly to, or you were a good aunt. Your sister, your brother had kids, and so you are an excellent aunt to that person. And so I want you to enjoy the Mother's Day weekend for you too. And then there are some fathers who are raising children. So, you know, like on Father's Day, I used to buy myself something or just, hey, happy Father's Day to myself, because I was the father and I was raising Evelyn, mother and father. Although she had a father, I felt like I was both of them in the household because I was a divorced parent. And there's a lot to be said about all of us, that we stand our ground and raise our children. And you say, well, one thing about it, they're your kids until they're not your kids. They always your kids. Because they don't want to always be your kid, but they'll always be your kid. And so whatever child, your child is 3, maybe your child is 7, you know, every age is exciting. Maybe your child is 23. I heard people say my son is 30 now. We all know what 30 means. They don't know what 30 means, but we know what 30 means. You know, we know every age that they are. We know every age, what that means. What it means to be 50, what it means to be... I remember my mother saying one time, I can't believe I have a daughter 50-something years old or 60-something, maybe 50-something, because she died when she was 88. And so you all do the math. I may have been still in my 50s, right in my early 60s. But just to know you have worked on that child, and you have looked after that child, and you changed some diapers, and you went to the hospital, or you went to the pediatrician. You did all those things, and you look and say, dang, you know, I did it. You know, because we do have to sit back. We sit back and say, I did it. I did it, Lord. And then you say, we did it. Because a lot of prayers go into having a child, lots of prayers. Don't you know? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? A lot of prayers go into having a child. And so if your mother is here, be sure to honor her. If your mother's here, call. See, some of the things I don't like is when your mother's here and, well, and you too busy to see about her. You know, I don't understand when I hear a mother has walked off somewhere and they don't know where the mother is. I'm like, who are you? What? You don't have your house set up in a way that you don't know if she walked out the door? What is wrong with that? I mean, and then I know sometimes you have to put them in homes because you busy. You don't have anybody. You don't have enough siblings to take turns. I have a friend of mine whose mother is still living, and they take turns because she has Alzheimer's, and that got to be difficult for them. But they say it's still mom. They say it's still my dear, you know. And then because they look at her and know that's their mama, and so they just work through it, you know, because you all are looking back at us also and saying, that's mama. Mama brought me here. Mama took care of me. Mama changed some diapers. Mama paid some bills. Mama went through some sacrifices that sometimes we don't ask anything. We don't say about it, but they don't know. Most of the time, your kids, as you, do not know what your mother went through to get you where you are. A lot. You think you do, but you don't really know. You don't really know. You don't know because you don't know what was going on in her head. You don't know what was going on in her head. So if she's gone, live what she taught you, because she taught you some stuff. She taught you some stuff. She taught you discernment. And I bet you have a certain discernment about you. You try to pass it on, but people don't listen to you. And so what you do is that you keep your mouth closed and you see about yourself. See about yourself and be glad to talk to them on the phone or talk to your children or however you talk to them, and go out on Mother's Day and do whatever that is mothers do on Mother's Day. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever they want to do, just go out and do that. And then say hello to your heavenly mom. Think about some of the things she taught you. Think about the good times, because Mother's Day is hard on some people, especially if their mother's living and they have Alzheimer's. I have my roommate. I think about her. I think about the fun we used to have. I think about the fun we used to have. And that girl, she doesn't know me. She doesn't know her family and how they have to deal with it. The grandchildren, they all collectively are taking care of her. I won't call any names, but it can be heartbreaking, But anyway, find something that they want. You all with those gifts are just, sometimes they don't even want a gift. Sometimes they want you to just do something they ask you to do, or do one thing. That's would be a gift. Just do that thing that they really ask you to do. Do that. And that would be like a gift, because they know that they know that they know. They know that they know they know. But you all don't know that we know that we know that we know. And when we dead and gone, then you say, God, man, she knew. She could see down the road, because we could see down the road, because we on the other end of the road looking back. All right, so let's look at this gift. This is a gift. Let's see what this is. Isn't this beautiful? Look at it. Well, I tell you what it is. You take it and you open it. It's made of brass, and you open it, and look at this. Look at this. When have you seen something that looked like this? You have not. Where it comes with, when you've seen lipstick in a case like this, a very beautiful case like this, and then wait, look, then a powder, something you just put the powder on right here, and then they didn't have credit cards, just not doing the credit card. This is where you put your little $2 that you had, and then you had a mirror. But what is this right here, Georgianne? Well, this is where you put your cigarettes. This is where you put your cigarettes. You line the cigarettes up, and then you open your cigarettes, and you get your cigarettes, all this, and you carry this, and here's the little cover, and this is your little bag. You held in your hand properly. Okay. It's just I found this cleaning up. Cleaning up. I'm sure I got this either from Salvation Army somewhere, or my mother gave it to me. I don't know where. I don't remember, but it was so beautiful. I wanted to share this with you as you think about your gifts that you're giving, the gifts that they gave back then, and the gifts of love and caring is the gift that's best received right now. I love you. I do. And you can't do anything about it.